This Impact Wrestling review was brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Try it with the WWE app. Well, for those of you who don't know, the Impact fan battle is over. At least for me it is. The other guy got more votes than I did this past week, so I'm out of the competition. It's kind of a bummer. It was a lot of fun, and it was really cool to know that Impact Wrestling was reading my tweets. That was a nice feeling. I was hoping it would last for a while, but the vote just didn't go my way, unfortunately. Thank you to anyone who did vote for me, though. I really appreciate it, and who knows, maybe I'll get another shot at some point. Anyway, how about Impact? This was par for the course with these taped shows. The way the Impact schedule goes now, it's live taped, and so on. And the pattern that's been developing is that generally they seem to put a lot more effort into the live shows. That's when they bring out their best stuff, that's when the big moments tend to happen. And then for the taped shows, they're kind of on autopilot. And I don't want to say they get lazy, but it's hard not to feel that way sometimes. And I guess I sort of understand why they do it this way, but if the fans get conditioned to think that nothing really important happens on the taped shows, you're going to have a problem on your hands. If I could make a suggestion, just throw it out there, you need to think harder about keeping the crowd invested. You're shooting 2 weeks of TV in front of every crowd. By the time you start the taped show, they're wiped. And if you have a bad crowd in the first place, like the one you had in Tampa, it comes off like shit. This crowd sucked. I was getting Impact Zone flashbacks, it was so quiet in that arena. So here's what I'm thinking. Change the segments you put Hogan in. Whatever venue you go to, any arena, any state, Hogan's gonna get one of the biggest reactions of the night, if not the biggest. So don't trot him out at the start of the live show anymore. If the crowd gets to go nuts for Hogan right off the bat, they're going to tire out that much quicker. Instead, why not keep him backstage for the live show, and when the tape show starts and the audience is winding down and need a reason to wake up, then bring Hogan out? You get the crowd excited again, maybe they'll be a bit more lively for the rest of the night, or at least maybe they won't be sitting on their hands when you air the show taped every other week. Just a thought. I liked the opening segment this week just because it was a little different than what we usually get. Instead of the obligatory Hogan promo or the obligatory Sting promo, we had a quick Bully Ray promo and then straight into a match. It didn't overstay its welcome. I didn't lose patience with it. I probably would have if any of the aces and eights other than Bully Ray had been talking, but they didn't. At least not yet. This transitioned into 3D versus Sting and Joseph Park. Abyss's music plays, 3D gets distracted, the faces win. Pretty boring match, just a lot of brawling until they went to commercial. They tried to do some wrestling when they came back, but it was nothing impressive. There were 2 really entertaining parts, though. One being Bully Ray, just looking so damn proud of himself that he can hit a dropkick now. And the other being Sting and Joseph Park going for stereo scorpion deathlocks, except poor Joseph didn't know how to apply it. See, stuff like that is endearing when Joseph Park does it. When The Miz forgets how to do a figure 4, it's just sad. And when he can take something like this and make it work, that is the magic of Joseph Park. Apparently, D'Lo Brown is now out of the aces and eights. Good. Moving on. Yes! Dixie Carter shows up, and she talks about whatever she needed to talk about to give her an excuse to be in the ring. Then some of the aces and eights show up. God help us all, they're being led by Garrett Bischoff.
No!
And Garrett Bischoff has something that Garrett Bischoff should never, under any circumstances, come anywhere close to. He had a live mic.
No!
There are plenty of things I could say about how bad Garrett continues to be on the mic, or how little charisma he has, but I think my old friend Chess Army said it best. He said that Garrett Bischoff sounds like a drunk Heath Slater. I couldn't put it any better than that. Stop talking, Garrett. Just stop.
Silence!
Samoa Joe and Magnus make the save for Dixie, and God bless Samoa Joe for that promo he cut, saying that no one gave Garrett permission to speak.
I'm laughing at you.
So then Joe challenges Garrett to a match, which, with the way the segment was booked, really didn't need to happen, and which I couldn't have cared less about, honestly. But then the production team had an unexpected flash of brilliance and chose that moment to cut to a commercial, so like 95% of the match happened during the break. If that had happened to almost anyone else, it would have pissed me off. But since it was Garrett Bischoff and no one gives two shits about him, they couldn't have picked a better way to do this. But in case you're wondering, Chess Army was at the show. He said the match was lousy. He said Garrett sucks so much that even Samoa Joe couldn't carry him to a decent match, and he's a big Samoa Joe fan, so that's saying something. I don't think I need to tell you guys that Garrett Bischoff had a bad match. That kind of goes without saying, but there you go. Magnus is fighting with the aces and eights outside the ring. Joe dives onto everybody. Match gets thrown out. We only saw the tail end of it, and that's just fine with me. Then we get a six-man tag booked for the pay-per-view with Garrett, Wes, and Doc, who may or may not have been swapped out for Anderson since then, I'm not sure, versus Joe, Magnus, and Jeff Hardy, which, quite frankly, sounds like an incredible waste of Joe, Magnus, and Jeff Hardy. There's much better things you could be doing with them. They should not be stuck in a pointless match like this trying to carry these three schmucks. But I guess it beats them not being on the pay-per-view at all.
This whole show is ridiculous!
Then we had an 8-man tag with the 4 teams in the tag title match this Sunday. And this wasn't bad, but considering the people in it, it really should have been a lot better. They could have done more to make this match exciting. It never got out of first gear. They were probably holding back to save stuff for the pay-per-view, but I don't see why. Storm and Gunner are the only new element in there. We've seen the other 3 teams fight I don't know how many times. Austin Aries submits to Gunner's torture rack, so I guess Aries is still in the doghouse after Crotchgate. I hope that doesn't last too long. But Gunner needed to get the win here, and it is nice to see him back. And seeing how Storm is injured right now, I wonder if they might do an injury angle at Slammiversary, which leads to Crimson replacing him in the match. Crimson and Gunner were teased as a team at the Joker's Wild pay-per-view. They fit together better than Gunner and Storm do, so I'd love to see that. James Storm belongs in the main events now anyway.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Our new Knockouts champion Mickie James cuts an in-ring promo, and she covers all the babyface bases, being nice and sweet, thanking everyone, but sounding just a little insincere. She invites Velvet Sky out to the ring, and of course they're still the best of friends, until Velvet says she wants her rematch at the pay-per-view. That's when the mood changes. And Mickie tries to get out of it, saying that Brooke Hogan already booked Gail Kim, Taryn Terrell for Slammiversary, and this part didn't make sense to me. If Mickie is leaning more toward the heelish side now, then wouldn't she want to get Velvet's rematch out of the way when she knows Velvet's knee isn't 100%? I don't know. Maybe she's not all the way heel yet. I wish they would hurry that up, but at least we're making some progress here. Then Gail comes out, attacks Velvet. Mickie, the sly minx, doesn't lift a finger to help her, and this brings out Taryn Terrell. Pretty good segment here. Promos were alright, if you didn't mind Velvet stealing Christian Cage's catchphrase for some reason. They got a few different knockout storylines interweaving right now. It's not just champion versus challenger anymore. That's refreshing. I am really missing Tessmacher, however. Mickie was really good playing the insincere babyface. Her as the champion is already a big improvement. And Velvet was a transitional champion, so now that Mickie has the belt, it feels like things are actually happening finally. So with Gail and Taryn already out there, we move into a mixed tag match with Chris Sabin and Kenny King. I was very happy to see them relax the old triple threat rule. That actually happened a lot sooner than I thought it would. I gave them 6 months before they dropped that one. It was going to be a limiting concept anyway, so to get the X-Guys in different types of matches is a good thing. The match is a little chaotic, but it's alright. Sabin gets the pin, Kenny lays him out, Suicide makes the save, him and Sabin have a stare down. Not bad pay-per-view hype. But you know what the problem with it was? Not a single one of the X guys booked for Slammiversary even mentioned the Ultimate X match. In fact, TNA have done so little to get the word out about that unless you've been paying really close attention, you might not even know that match is going to be at Ultimate X. And if you're not going to make a big deal out of it, then why even do it at all?
You people are fools!
Also, the fact that they're putting Sabin in an Ultimate X match again really makes me nervous. He just came back. He's only had a couple matches. He's probably still waiting to see if his knees hold up. Is it really wise to put him in a high-risk match like that so soon? Isn't that dangerous? This just sounds like a really bad idea to me. The main event was AJ Styles versus Ken Anderson. And after last week, we really needed to get comments from AJ Styles prior to this, or at least someone trying to get comments from AJ Styles prior to this, but I think that was the first time we saw him all night. So that was a big thing that was missing. The match is okay, but nothing special. The crowd didn't care, and it really went too long because we knew we weren't going to get a finish. We were all just waiting for Kurt Angle to come out like he said he would earlier. So it's like, why are we dragging this thing out so long, you know? It was just pointless deliberation, really. Angle causes a DQ, it escalates into a big brawl with a lot of different guys, until finally, at the end, it's Sting and Bully Ray trading blows with the fans in the crowd looking like they were bored to tears. That's not good. Please don't do another Impact show in Tampa, TNA. This crowd was awful. This was a decent, inoffensive show, but for a Slammiversary go-home show, it really felt like they weren't trying hard enough. There was no energy. There was no hard sell for the pay-per-view. I mean, yeah, being taped and the shitty crowd had a lot to do with it, but that's not an excuse to be asleep at the wheel here. The Aces and Eights thing is just not capturing people's attention anymore. It's not generating excitement. It's not creating any new stars. In fact, it's doing the opposite, holding stars down by preventing guys like Magnus from getting the push they should be getting.
This whole show violates everything about my journalistic integrity.
And I gotta say, on paper, Slammiversary looks like a mixed bag to me right now. To be honest, I'm more interested in something else that's gonna happen at Slammiversary. But it could be a fun show. We'll see. So try to enjoy it, and I'll see you afterward. With any luck, once again, flying solo. Later.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of the YWC. This is going to be the infamous contract signing for the 4th Dimension Full Killer versus Terminator NJ match at TNA's Extravaganza Slammiversary 2013. In this corner, we have Terminator NJ. And in this corner, 4th Dimension Full Killer. The aforementioned fight between Terminator NJ and the 4th Dimension Full Killer will take place on the channel, which will be determined by this flip of a coin. Terminator NJ, could you call this one in the air, please?
Heads.
The coin has come up. Tails.
About as good at picking coin tosses as you are at picking opponents. Home field advantage, dick. What, are you gonna kick my ass on my own turf now?
Well, at least Full Killer will have something interesting on his channel now.
Hey! I'm standing right here!
Calm down, just calm down, you two, for Christ's sake. It's time to make this contract signing official. I have the contract right here. That contract has been signed by Terminator NJ. It's now time for me to hand the contract over to 4th Dimension Full Killer. Well, the contract has been signed by 4th Dimension Fall Killer, and that means that the match between 4th Dimension Fall Killer and Terminator NJ has now been signed and made official on Fall Killer's...
Oh, just wait 1 minute. There's something I must make perfectly clear. This match at Slammiversary had just got a hell lot worse for this fucking worthless mortal. That Slammiversary, if you read that contract just one more time, you would have seen that I added a stipulation. At Slammiversary, your pathetic life will come to an end, because you just signed me and you one-on-one in a no-holds-barred, buried alive match. Because by the end of that night, you will be buried where the crows don't even go. 4th Dimension Fall Killer, you will rest in peace by the hands of me. And believe me, the worthless mortals, the best is yet to come.
Wow. Buried alive. So, this means that one way or another, one of you, hopefully you, isn't coming back from this. And maybe, if I'm really, really lucky, whichever one of you goes to hell will take the other one with you. Number one, you're not that lucky. And number two, no holds barred, buried alive. Please, I'm happy about this. He thought he was giving himself an advantage, but all this means is that I don't have to hold back. It's been a long time coming, but that moron has finally sealed his fate. I pray to God it's the other way around. But seeing as how this is the go-home show, do you have anything you'd like to say before your epic battle? No. The time for talking is over.